Professora, começou. Boa tarde, senhoras e senhores. Bem-vindas e bem-vindos à segunda sessão do Third Skill Based Workshop for the TOEFL iBT Test. Esse é um evento promovido pelo Grupo de Cooperação Internacional das Universidades Brasileiras, o GCUB e a Educational Testing Service, ETS. Boa tarde, professora Diane.
Boa tarde, Thalita. Satisfação estar aqui.
Satisfação toda nossa. Eu vou começar a fazer uma apresentação do GCUB e depois eu passo a palavra para a senhora.
Tudo bem.
O GCUB é uma associação composta por 90 universidades. Sua missão é fomentar as relações acadêmicas, científicas e culturais entre as instituições associadas e parceiros internacionais por meio de projetos, programas e ações de cooperação internacional bilateral e multilateral. As atividades do GCUB são desenvolvidas em associação com organizações internacionais, redes de universidades, conselhos de reitores e órgãos governamentais, de mais de 100 países dos 5 continentes. Os programas do GCUB são destinados a alunos de graduação e pós-graduação, bem como a pesquisadores e professores de todas as áreas do conhecimento. Em nome da diretoria do GCUB, gostaria de expressar minha mais sincera gratidão à nossa ilustre palestrante, senhora Diane Blum, que é diretora associada da ETS e Client Relations da TOEFL no Brasil. A senhora Diane se dedica a promover e apoiar a mobilidade acadêmica no Brasil, enquanto atua como representante brasileira do programa ETS TOEFL. Ela visa ajudar instituições acadêmicas do Brasil a cumprir suas metas de internacionalização, aplicando 7 anos de conhecimento e experiência em Client Relations e negociações com a comunidade de ensino superior, as universidades brasileiras, incluindo ensino médio bilíngue em escolas e institutos de língua inglesa. A senhora Diane também é responsável pelo desenvolvimento de serviços relacionados à implementação de marketing empresarial TOEFL para o Brasil. Diretora Diane, passo a palavra para a senhora. Muito obrigada.
Ok, Thalita. Muito obrigada pela apresentação. Para nós, bom, em nome da ETS, Educational Testing Service, que é a organização responsável pelo TOEFL iBT, não só no Brasil, mas em mais de 150 países em todo o mundo, queria agradecer essa oportunidade de estar aqui trazendo informações muito relevantes a respeito de um produto, de um teste, né, que tem ajudado milhares de alunos a transformar seus sonhos em realidade, né, que inclui aí estudar numa universidade no exterior. Então, a gente dá apoio a todas as comunidades, a toda a comunidade acadêmica. No meu caso, o meu apoio é mais focado no Brasil, né? Somos 2 apoiadores desse processo, sou eu e o professor Edson Canella, que está situado em São Paulo e estava aqui com muitos de vocês na semana passada, né? Ele apresentou a parte de reading e listening. Então, a gente, né, tem uma enorme satisfação de estar apoiando o GCUB, né, que é uma grande instituição, muito renomada em todo o mundo, em vários países, né, e responsável aí pela promoção da internacionalização das universidades brasileiras. E o nosso papel como é que eu posso dizer, nosso papel aí nesse projeto, GCUB e ETS, é trazer, né, informações, compartilhar informações da assistência, tanto para os alunos quanto para as universidades, com relação a todo o processo do TOEFL iBT, não só o aprendizado, né, mas o ensino também das habilidades, das skills, que são muito bem avaliadas no teste. Então, o foco aqui hoje a gente vai focar nessas habilidades, as habilidades, né, acadêmicas da língua inglesa, avaliadas no TOEFL. Foi isso que vocês viram com a apresentação do professor Edson na semana passada, e hoje eu estou a cargo de trazer essas habilidades, mostrar para vocês. Lembrando que esse workshop ele não é um workshop preparatório, nós não estamos aqui para prepará-los para o teste, não é isso. É para trazer, apesar de que este workshop de hoje faz parte da sua jornada de preparação para o teste, mas é mais para trazer conteúdo, né? Familiarizar os participantes com o conteúdo do teste, né? Esse é o objetivo do workshop. E aí, claro, a gente também oferece as ferramentas para que vocês possam estar atualizados com toda a preparação. Inclusive, hoje, no final, né, se você ficar até o final desse workshop, espero que ele seja bem proveitoso, que você fique até o final, e ao final, a gente vai estar compartilhando, né? A colega Thalita vai estar compartilhando um link, que é o link com um documento, na verdade, com todos os links das informações que a gente trouxe aqui no workshop. Tá? Uma lista de links. Então, é muito boa essa lista, porque você vai lá encontrar todas as informações específicas que vão ser trabalhadas aqui, que foram trabalhadas na semana passada e hoje aqui, certo? Então, eu acredito que a gente já pode começar, né? Quero dar as boas-vindas a todos vocês que estão aqui hoje. Muitos de vocês estiveram no sábado passado, na quinta passada. Eu sei que tem várias pessoas novas hoje aqui, né? Então, para essas pessoas novas, vocês estão aqui porque vocês são alunos ou professores de universidades que são associadas com o Grupo de Cooperação Internacional das Universidades Brasileiras, ou seja, o GCUB. E a ETS tem essa excelente parceria aí né, com o GCUB, justamente para trazer esse tipo de atividades para os associados. Então, continuem sempre ligados à programação do GCUB nas redes sociais, porque a gente está sempre, né, todo mês a gente está com uma novidade. Falando em novidade, a gente está tramitando a nova programação. A gente vai estar com webinars sobre o TOEFL iBT, sobre o TOEFL Home Edition e também sobre o novo teste que foi lançado, o novo TOEFL, chama-se TOEFL Essentials. Ele é o mais novo produto da ETS, né, o mais novo teste. Entrou no mercado para dar apoio à comunidade acadêmica, é uma nova opção, né? E é um teste mais barato, um teste mais rápido e um teste que avalia também as 4 habilidades, né? Nessas webinars a gente vai estar explicando a diferença desses testes e o conteúdo, né? É claro que cada teste tem o seu uso e a sua finalidade, né? Então, fiquem ligados em toda a programação que a partir de setembro a gente vai estar com webinars a respeito do TOEFL Essentials também, ok? Então, acho que a gente pode começar. Eu vou compartilhar minha tela. Pergunta, Thalita, se apareceu aí minha tela. E pergunto também como está o meu som, Thalita. Ele está bem? Preciso falar um pouquinho mais alto ou tá bom? Tá tranquilo, né? Ok. Então, até agora a gente, né, nossas apresentações, todas foram, tudo foi feito em português, né? Inclusive falando em apresentação, gostaria muito de que vocês colocassem desculpa o barulho, tem um barulhozinho aqui no meu, coisas de home office, tem um barulhozinho aqui que eu não estava esperando, de uma pessoa limpando o quintal do vizinho. Acredito que vocês já estejam acostumados com isso, mas acho que vai ser rapidinho e que espero que não esteja atrapalhando. Eu sou de Brasília. Na verdade, eu não sou de Brasília, eu moro em Brasília, eu sou do norte, né? E moro em Brasília já tem 8 anos. Eu gostaria de saber de onde vocês estão, de quais universidades vocês participam, são alunos, são professores, né? Acredito que temos universidades aqui de todo o país. Só coloque no chat e a Thalita, eu posso ler o chat aqui também para saber de onde vocês são, de onde vocês estão assistindo. Ok, obrigada. Então, vou esperar que vocês consigam compartilhar aí suas informações a respeito de onde vocês estão nos assistindo. Como eu estava falando, né, nossa apresentação ela vai ser toda em inglês, porque esse é um teste de inglês, né? Acredito que muitos de vocês já estão se preparando para o teste, já estão estudando o teste, então estão envolvidos com conteúdo em inglês, né? Isso aqui é também mais uma prática, né, de listening para vocês, né? Reading and listening em inglês para vocês. Só mais uma coisinha a respeito, né, da minha bio. Eu fui uma aluna de mestrado de uma universidade americana, né, na Universidade de Washington, e eu eu fiz um Master's Degree em TESOL, né, Teaching English as a Second Language, pela Universidade de Washington. Então, eu tive toda essa experiência relacionada aos testes de proficiência, como uma aluna não nativa, né, da língua inglesa, eu precisei apresentar uma prova da minha proficiência em inglês. E eu fiz o TOEFL, precisei fazer o TOEFL e também o GRE, que eu sei que muitos de vocês aí vão precisar fazer nas suas applications, ok? E ao longo dessa apresentação eu vou estar falando um pouquinho dessa minha experiência como aluna de um mestrado dentro de uma universidade americana. Ok, nós temos até às 6 horas, né, aqui de Brasília, para terminar o nosso workshop. Então, nossa meta é que na primeira hora a gente cubra toda a parte de speaking, né? Parte da sessão de speaking do teste, né? A gente vai falar sobre as skills que são avaliadas no teste, e vamos fazer uma overview aí dessa parte, né? Vamos trabalhar os tipos de perguntas em detalhes, né? Os tipos de perguntas que são avaliadas nessa parte. Na segunda hora, a gente vai fazer a mesma coisa com a parte de writing. E no finalzinho, a gente vai compartilhar aí algumas dicas de material oficial, preparatórios, tá? E aquela lista que eu falei para vocês, naquele documento com a lista de todos os links para websites e páginas oficiais do TOEFL iBT. Lembrando que para as duas partes, a gente vai ter um Q&A. Então, quando eu terminar a parte de speaking, a gente vai responder, né? Eu vou tentar responder todas as perguntas que vocês tiverem na parte de speaking e depois na parte de writing, no final do writing, ok? Vocês também já podem ir, se tiverem alguma dúvida, pergunta, já podem ir colocando no chat, que depois eu peço para a Thalita fazer um resumozinho dessas perguntas e a gente tentar responder. Ok? Deixa eu ver aqui. Ok, já tem. Muito obrigada, já vi que muita gente já se apresentou aqui. Matheus Laureano, de Niterói, Rio de Janeiro, muito prazer. Obrigada por estar aqui. O Pablo, da UFC, Universidade do Ceará. Muito prazer, obrigada por estar aqui. A Natália, da UFRN, já visitei sua universidade, viu? Gostei muito, né, de ter visitado a sua cidade, fiz esse mesmo trabalho que estamos fazendo aqui hoje, não, na época não existia o Skill Based Workshops, a gente deu um webinar na UFRN. Matheus Laureano, da Universidade, da UFF, Solano de Maria, da FURG, Juliane também da FURG, Elaine da UFSCar, Bruna de São Paulo, não disse de que universidade, mas sejam todos bem-vindos, Bruna da UFLA, que bacana, gente, estou vendo gente de vários lugares do Brasil, da USP, Alice da UEMG, Estadual de Minas Gerais, gente, muita gente, né? Muita gente bacana, gente de todo o país, de várias universidades. Ouro Preto, Universidade Federal de Ouro Preto, Minas Gerais, Vinícius, seja bem-vindo. Que satisfação estar aqui conversando com pessoas, né? Como é que eu posso dizer? Já experientes no meio acadêmico, né? E que entendem da necessidade de uma proficiência em inglês, não só para viajar, para fazer um intercâmbio lá fora, estudar um programa, uma bolsa lá fora, mas também para uso interno, né? Uso aqui no país mesmo. Muitos programas aqui no Brasil, programas de universidade de pós-graduação, eles já estão pedindo o TOEFL iBT nos seus editais, né? Então, é sempre bom estar aí atualizado com as informações do TOEFL iBT, porque você vai precisar, né, um dia apresentar uma nota em um teste como o TOEFL iBT. Então, essa é a pequena overview aí do TOEFL iBT, na verdade, da estrutura do TOEFL iBT, como vocês podem ver, o teste é dividido em 4 partes, né? A reading é a primeira prova que você vai fazer, né? E listening, essa parte o professor Edson já trabalhou na semana passada, né? Depois da parte de listening, você tem um break de 10 minutos, né? Nesse break de 10 minutos, você pode ir ao banheiro, você pode comer alguma coisa, né? Sair da sua sala. Se vai fazer no centro aplicador, você pode sair da sala. Se está fazendo em casa, né? Acredito que o professor Edson tenha falado da nova versão do TOEFL, que você pode fazer de casa, né? Vou falar já a respeito dela um pouquinho, né? Aí você começa a parte de speaking, né? A parte de speaking, ela só leva 17 minutos. Por quê? Porque você vai ler a pergunta no computador e você vai responder, e você tem um tempo cronometrado para responder, tá? Por isso que elas são só 7 minutos. Desculpa, 17 minutos, tá? Tem 2 anos que a parte de speaking foi diminuída, tá, gente? O número de questões na parte de speaking foi diminuído, tá? Antes eram 6 perguntas, agora você responde a somente 3 perguntas. Uma independent e 3 integrated, né? Eu falei que eu ia falar inglês e eu estou falando em português. Acabei esquecendo disso, hein? Vamos voltar, ligar o botão do English, né? Because I totally forgot that I was going to do this presentation. It has to be in English. So let's turn on the English button, okay? So as you can see, the fourth and last part of the test is the writing part, okay? For the writing part, you have 2 tasks, 2 questions, okay? Actually, not 2 questions. Yeah, they are 2 questions, but you have to write 2 essays, okay? One independent and one integrated, okay? You will have 50 minutes total to finish these 2 essays, okay? And as you can see, the score scale for each part goes from 0 to 30, which means that you will take from 0 to 30 in each part, and this will be a total of 120. TOEFL iBT scores go from 0 to 120, okay? That's the highest score on the TOEFL iBT, okay? And I didn't see about the time for the test. Total time for the TOEFL iBT is 3 hours, okay? But you will have like 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes for the check-in part, which is, you know, what you will need to do before the test, like show your ID, start your computer, show your ID, and there are some steps that you need to follow during this check-in, okay? So most of you, as most of you already know, the TOEFL iBT is a test that measures the ability to communicate by combining all 4 language skills: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. It's academically focused. So it's really important that you know that everything that you do on the TOEFL iBT, it intends to be evaluated in an academic environment. All the universities that accept the TOEFL iBT, and they are 11,000 institutions total, they choose the TOEFL iBT because they trust on the content of the test. The content of the test is exactly the content that they will need the student to know when they get at the university, okay? So all academic English skills that they want the students to be aware and to know when they get at the university, that's what the TOEFL iBT access, okay? So when you are taking the TOEFL iBT, when you're preparing for the TOEFL iBT, you are preparing for your real life academic environment. Everything that you do on the TOEFL iBT, you use it in real life, okay? Real academic life. So the institutions also choose the TOEFL iBT because it provides valid and reliable information to support score users. That's what I just talked to you about in terms of academic focused content. And TOEFL iBT, besides US, it's accepted in more than 150 countries. So you can take the TOEFL iBT and apply for universities all over the world, okay? So it's not only for US. So if you wanna go to UK, if you wanna go to study at a UK university, you can use the TOEFL iBT because thousands of institutions in the UK, they will accept the TOEFL iBT. Okay. All right, so we have an overview of the TOEFL iBT. So let me know if you have already taken the TOEFL home edition, or let me know if your city doesn't have a testing center, because this is what you might want to do. You might want to take the TOEFL from home, because since the beginning of the pandemic, ETS developed this version of the TOEFL specifically because of the pandemic, because all the schools, all the testing centers were closed. So, and the students needed to prove their proficiency in English to the schools. So they needed somehow take the test. So ETS developed this very successful remote version of the TOEFL. It's called the TOEFL Home Edition, and it's the same test that you take at a testing center. It's the same system. It doesn't change any question. It doesn't change any structure. Everything is the same. The only thing that is different in this test is that now you will take it from home using your own equipment. So be aware that you need the right equipment to take the TOEFL iBT. And these are not equipment that you won't find, that you won't have. You might have everything at home, a laptop or a desktop, speakers and speakers and a camera, okay? It's important that you know that your camera and your speakers, they can, they needed to be, how can I say? They can be inserted on your computer. For example, if you have a laptop and if you already have your microphone, your cameras, that's the one that you're gonna use it. Or you can use an external one if you don't have them, okay? The only thing that you cannot use is what I'm using right now. I'm using earphones. And also you cannot use those headsets because it's not permitted for safety purposes, okay? The person who is monitoring the test, the proctor, he needs to know, he needs to see that, he needs to see your ears, he needs to make sure that everything is safe during the administration of your test. So that's why you cannot use a headset, okay? But you can use an external microphone on your computer. All right, so I'm using the slides here, this slide to show you some of the advantages of the TOEFL iBT, okay? For example, not only for you to use the TOEFL iBT abroad, if you want to study abroad, but when you have a score of the TOEFL iBT, you can use it for 2 years you can use it at your university, for example, at your program, in your program, okay? For example, if you need to take an English course, depending on your score on the TOEFL iBT, your university will take your scores, and then you don't need to take that course because you already have the proficiency that they need. So if you have a B1, B2, C1, and C2 levels on the TOEFL iBT, and if you have those courses that you need to take at your university, you can present and show your TOEFL score, okay? You have heard a lot about internationalization at home, which means that universities in Brazil now, they are looking to improve their internationalization programs and to support their students and teachers to study abroad or to provide more resources for their programs. All right, so now I would like your thoughts and comments for us to start the speaking part and the writing part. I would like you to share your thoughts on what type of speaking and writing language skills do you think you will need in an academic English environment, which means at the university. For any university environment, what type of speaking and in writing skills you will need in order to be successful? For example, if you are a first-year student and you are going abroad to study this program, master's degree program, or undergraduate program, or PhD program, what do you think that for the speaking and the writing, you say like, I will need to be good at that. Otherwise, I'm not going to understand anything. I'm not going to be able to participate on the class, in the classes. So as I'm going through the slides and present you the content, I would like you to share your comments on those skills. Something that you're already studying, that you are already doing on your English course or doing at your university. So something that you think that you are improving because you need when in terms of English language. Ok. Ok. Estão chegando já perguntas, estou vendo aqui. Eu vou pedir para a Thalita para ela copiar, colar as perguntas, copiar e colar, e no final das duas partes eu vou respondendo, tá bom? Mas eu já vou responder essa aqui da participante Fabiana. Ela pergunta se para o Home Edition, né, o candidato também pode sair da sala durante o intervalo e se é necessário avisar o proctor. Olha só, Fabiana, essa é uma boa pergunta. Tanto quanto no Test Center ou em casa, você só pode sair da sala durante o intervalo ali de 10 minutos entre o listening e o speaking. Sim, você sai, só que o teste já vai aparecer na sua tela quando você terminar a parte de listening, vai aparecer a sua nota, né? Agora você já pode receber automaticamente as notas do reading e da parte de reading e de listening, tá? Então, quando você termina essas duas partes, vai aparecer a sua nota e você vai para o seu intervalo. E o sistema já vai avisar para você. Você tem 10 minutos de break. E aí você pode sair. Você não precisa falar para o proctor que você vai sair, porque o sistema já fala, ok? Obrigada pela pergunta. Então, vamos lá. Começando com a parte de speaking. Vamos lá, vamos ver o que você vai encontrar na parte do speaking, qual o conteúdo, que tipo de perguntas você vai precisar responder e que tipo de estratégias, né, você precisa para responder bem essas perguntas, certo? Olha só, são 4 perguntas, né, na parte do speaking, e uma independent e 3 integrated. One independent, it's about familiar topics. Your responses are based on personal experience, okay? Which means that you will have questions that are based on, I would say, your daily life, you know, daily lives, like common questions. I'm going to give you an example. What is your favorite holiday of the year? Okay. But you're not going to just say my favorite holiday of the year is Christmas, for example. They will ask you, you will see on the question, they will ask you why that's your favorite holiday. Okay, and give examples and details on your response, which means that you will say which holiday is your favorite, and you will convince that person that, yes, the person is giving me good reasons why she chooses Christmas as her holiday, her favorite holiday. Okay, you're going to give details, you're going to give examples, you're going to give relevant information. You can talk about your family, you can talk about it's a good time because all my family are together, or because I travel to visit my parents. So relevant information, okay, to answer your question. The other three tasks will be integrated, which means that you will read, listen, and speak, okay? You read a short passage, and then you will listen to a short passage on the same topic, and then you will speak, and then you will answer your question speaking, okay? Those questions, they can be, they are one academic and one campus-based, okay? The academic is related to academic topics, okay? And campus-based, for example, a conversation between two students or a conversation between a student and a teacher, okay? And they will come up with a question and you will respond them, okay? It's really important that you base your response on the information that you get from those sources, the reading and the listening passages, okay? And the last one is one listening speaking task, okay? You're going to listen to something, which is a conversation between two speakers or three speakers, or a class, a lecture, okay? And then you will speak your response. Okay, in this part, the integrated, your responses are based on what was read and heard, which means that you have to be very accurate on your response because you are relating your response on those sources. I like to say every time that I talk with the students, I like to tell them that all the questions on the TOEFL IBT, be them reading question, listening, speaking, writing questions, they have a learning objective, which means that ETS, TOEFL program, they design a question based on what you will need in a real academic environment. You are not only responding or studying a question just prefer doing it. No, there is a reason for you to do that. It's because you will use that, okay, when you are there at the university, when you are here in Brazil, studying in a course that is structured in English, okay? So all the questions, they have their learning objective. You are responding that question because there is a reason for that, okay? And now we'll talk about those learning objectives as we go over the slides. All right, so scores for the speaking they go from 0 to 4. Each score, okay? Each question, they are worth it 0 to 4. And they're scored holistically, which means that the person who is rating your score, who is evaluating, not your score, sorry, who is evaluating your answer, they look for all specific, all you have done, all you have answered, the whole, as a whole, they look at everything, all the details, looking for good things, positive things about everything that you do. They are not looking for just specific one thing. No, everything that you do, everything that you have delivered on your speaking response, they will take in account, okay? So they use topic development, delivery, and language use, okay? They look at those 3 items when they are evaluating your answer, okay? How well you develop the topic of the question, how well you deliver the message, for example, looking at intonation, looking at grammar, looking at pronunciation, okay? And language use, how well you use the language itself in terms of grammar. I already talked about that, the grammar, okay? But those three are the main items. And they use this rubric here, okay? And those rubrics, they go from 0 to 4. So for each item of this, they have, for each score, they will look at these descriptions in order to come to a final score. So for the independent speaking, which is the first task that you will have on the test, okay, you will have a topic to speak with no additional material. You will have 15 seconds to prepare your answer and 45 seconds to speak. That's why it's really important. One of the most important skills for you to take the TOEFL iBT, and not only TOEFL iBT, but other tests, standardized tests like the TOEFL iBT, is time management. So it's really important that you practice your speaking. You read, and you listen, and then you respond to questions, learn about the questions that are assessed on the TOEFL iBT, and practice in front of the mirror, practice with your WhatsApp. You know, we have on a WhatsApp, we have that voice message thing. So do a lot of WhatsApp voice message, or you can also use your microphone of your cell phone that you have on your cell phone. But there are several ways for you to record your English response, okay, to practice for the TOEFL iBT. All right, so what are we going to do now? We're going to learn about those types of independent speaking tasks. This one is called paired choice. You might have that type of task when you are taking the test. There are some different types. This one is called paired choice, okay? Which means that you will have two choices, not choices, two items to choose, okay, related to a subject, and then you will choose one and discuss about it, okay? In this case, they talk about off-campus, living in off-campus and on campus. What do you prefer? For example, if you are a first-year student and you are living, for example, at a university in US, and it's your first year, and you don't know anything, nobody, you don't know people there, so it's your first year, first month, and you need to decide, where do you want to live? Do you want to live close to campus or far away from campus? So you will need to decide, and you will have 15 minutes to prepare your answer, and you will have 45 seconds to answer. So you will read the prompt, and then you can listen the prompt. And I'm gonna play the prompt, okay? As you can see, you will have, they show here the time for you to prepare and the time for you to answer, okay? And they have the response time, which means that after you play here, the clock will start for you to talk. So you need to be, this is for you to be aware how much time you have for you to finish your response. So I'm gonna play the prompt.
Some universities require first-year students to live in dormitories on campus. Others allow students to live off campus. Which policy do you think is better for first-year students and why? Include details and examples in your explanation.
So did you hear that it says include, and also you can read here, include details and examples in your explanation. That's the most important part, okay? When you would choose the best option for you, and then you need to provide those details and example on your explanation, okay? So after you finish your answer, you're gonna go to the second, okay, part of the test. I don't see here any comments yet about writing and speaking language skills that you think that you are necessary for you to be successful if you are studying abroad, or if you are studying at your university, where at a course at your university, which English is used as a mean of instruction, okay? So as you go and share your thoughts here, I will read some of them. Let me check. So Beatriz asks, if you stammer from time to time, does it affect our score? So I'm gonna say that I understand stammer like hesitate. Is that what you mean? If you hesitate from time to time, does it affect your score? I'm gonna respond to your question as hesitation because that's the most questions that students have. And yes, it can affect your score, okay? But if you do it like one time, it's okay. You cannot just spend the whole answer, the 45 seconds, hesitating, like looking for words, looking to organize your ideas. You need to have your ideas well organized and your thoughts well organized in order to answer your question, okay? Hesitation can bring your score to a low level, okay? So that's why practice is really important. All right, so let me know, Beatriz, if that answers your question. If it doesn't, I will try to improve it. All right, so the raters, who are the people who assess your answers, okay, they use benchmarks. They work as a group to come up to a final score, and they use benchmarks. Benchmarks are examples of answers. Questions already answered in previous tests, and they already have scored, okay? Questions that answers that were already scored. So they use those answers, those benchmarks to guide themselves, okay? So this is a type of question. Is the same questions about living on campus or off campus during your first year, okay, as an international student, okay? So these are four levels of scores for answers to the same question that we just heard. So we're talking about the same question here. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna play those answers to you. As you can see, this is level 4, this is level 3, this is level 2, and level 1. Those are scores. Remember, scores for speaking, they go from level 1 to level 4. And they will come up to a score scale of 0 to 30, okay, to give your final score. So for this answer, for this question here, it goes from 1 to 4. So let's listen to an answer for that question about living on campus or off campus, which got the highest score.
I think it's better for the first year students to live on campus rather than off campus. Main reason because they are new to the city and it's safer for them to live on campus where there's more security because they don't know much about the city in the first place. Second of all, it helps them to become more familiar with their surroundings where they have to study. It also helps them to meet new people. Living in a dorm encourages friendships with people who you might not seem very comfortable with the first time. And it helps you meet new people. It helps you to interact with your seniors, if any, living in your dorm.
So this was the highest score for this question. So as you could see, the candidate, the student, she hesitated almost 0, her hesitation. She was objective, her English was clear, she knew about what to say about in her answer. So she was pretty much confident of her answer, what to say about the question. She was very confident. So that's why she got a level 4. So let's check level 3, which is a good level for the TOEFL iBT speaking part. And let's try to see what was the difference between 3 and 4 and why the students got 3 and not 4.
I think the better policy is to make students live in the dorm, because the first year student live in the dorm, because I think it's safer first, because most of them come from other town, so they don't really know their environment, so I think it's safer. However, I think they can make friends in the dorm, so they can have a good relationship to know how the university is going. I mean, they know better the environment, especially if they don't have cars.
So while I'm playing level 2 and level 1, I will give you a homework. I would like you to comment. What do you think? Why do you think this second student got level 3 and not 4? Comparing with the first one. Okay, can you help me with that? I would love to hear your thoughts about it. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna play level 2 and 1, which we believe from this experience that I have with the universities and their admission requirements, level 2 and level 1, they are not desirable for these institutions. Unless it's a course that you are not going to speak, a course that you don't need to communicate with much in classroom or outside classroom, okay, they will take a level 2. But I highly recommend that as you are studying for the TOEFL iBT, you try to reach a level 3, okay? You try to begin with level 2, and if you're able to step up to level 3, that's perfect. That would be great. Okay, so let's listen to level 2.
The policy of students to live in dormitories on campus is better according to me, because it gives them time to know about the city, and it is more easy for them to live in dormitories on campus. They don't face much problems. Moreover, it gives them times to find
All right, so that was level 2. Now let's listen to level 1. No, I want to listen to level 1. We want to listen to level 1. Okay, now something is happening here. Let me check what is wrong. What's going on?
I think the dormitories living, the students lives in dormitories very close to each other, students, so they familiar to each other. So first, students' relationship and communication, so very familiar. Cause good job for students.
All right, so it looks like I have something here. Some of your comments related to levels 3 and 4. So Asmin Freitas says that limited vocabulary, not really confident with his speaking. That's one thing. That was one important point as Asmin. I think it Yasmin or Asmin. Okay, Asmin. I'm gonna read it. It's here, Asmin. So yes, Asmin, you are right. Level 3, he was able to sustain his answer with to develop his ideas, sustain his answers with a vocabulary, good vocabulary, but he hesitated a lot, and he missed some vocabulary that could have helped him with that hesitation. And for example, he uses a lot of because, and because it's a link word that it's very important during this type of speech, but there are others. There are other link words for you to use when you are speaking in English, even in Portuguese. You can use different. So that's why I understand when Asmi said that limited vocabulary, because he could have used other link words, right? Linking words, and not here really confident with his speaking. Marina said that he froze several times and repeated lots of words. Yes, Marina, you're right. We just talked about that point of repeating the because. Roberta says that if you hesitate, you are given the idea that you don't know what you don't have. You don't know and you don't have fluency. I would say that you might give idea, but this is not a natural, I would say, not a natural environment for a person speak or deliver a message. So you have to practice a lot. But the problem is that if you don't practice it, you tend to forget and organize how organized your speech needs to be. So many times you have the right words, but if you don't practice, you might forget. So that's why practice, it's really important, especially for the speaking part. Talita says that lack of lack of self-confidence and too slow. Yes, yes, that's why he didn't get the 4. That's right, not a big amount of information, very limited information. Comparing to the level 4, she was like very object, very straight, very confident about, you know, information and content. Hesitations, thank you, Jordão. And thanks, Joanna. Joanna, yes, hesitation was a little bit in limited vocabulary were main points and main reasons for him not have gotten the level 4. So we're learning, right? We're learning that link words, a range of vocabulary, practice, okay, several times, the types of questions that is available. The links that I'm going to share with you in the end, there are links for you to look for types of questions, okay, of previous TOEFL tests. So it's very nice. It's very important that you practice those types of questions, okay? To be familiar and to practice and to be confident about it. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna look at the clock and see what time is it, see how much time we have, okay? Because I have another task here and it's 5. It's 5, no, it's 4 o'clock. That's right, no, it's 5. Sorry, guys, it's 5 o'clock, which means we have 1 hour, okay? And I need to hurry up, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just going to, I have sample questions here, and I'm gonna come back to the sample answers here. And if we have time, okay, for you to share what do you think, what level those students got, okay? Those are same answers for the same, not same answer. These are different answers for the same question, okay? And because of the time, I think I am, let me see next, which is the next one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go to this next slide, okay? And if we have time, I will bring that extra activity for you, okay? So here what we have is an independent speaking question, okay? And it's another type of question. Okay, you have 15 seconds and also 45 minutes to respond. Okay, and this is one type of familiar questions. If friends from another country were going to spend time in your country, what city or place would you suggest them to visit? Would you suggest they visit? Using details and examples, explain why. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, based on what you heard on those answers, okay, I will give you 15 seconds for you to prepare for this question, okay? I am not going to rate you. I am just giving you the opportunity to answer a question in English in the exact time that you will have at the test, during the test, okay? So of course, you need to practice this several times. You need to have, we recommend that you have you give at least 6 months to yourself for you to prepare for the TOEFL IBT, okay? And I would say that the speaking and the writing part are the parts that speaking and writing are the parts that you need to give, you need to allow more time for you to practice, okay? So don't worry if you don't find the right words to respond, okay? It's just for you to have the experience and maybe try to think, oh, I can do that later. You can try that later as well, okay? Try to practice, and then record yourself to see how much you improved and what you need to do to improve, okay? And then you can also rate yourself. Oh, I think I could have gotten 2 or 3 or 4 for this answer, okay? So I will time, okay? I have here, I'm gonna time you 15 seconds for you to prepare, okay? So you have already read the question. It's not a difficult question. It's a question that everybody can answer, right? So I'm gonna tell you when you are going to start, and then I will tell you when you start to practice, okay? 15 seconds is for you to practice. And when you are practicing, this is for you, not practicing, sorry, to prepare. And when you're preparing, what you need to do, okay, is taking notes. If you have a paper or a paper and a pencil, grab it and then start to write relevant information that you want to use on your answer, okay? All right, I will say time is over, okay, when we reach 15 seconds. Are you guys ready? Ready? Okay. I'm gonna say go, and then time is over, okay? Go. Time is over. Time to prepare your answer is over. Okay. So I also would like you to tell me what type of information you took note. It's really important that you know how to take your notes. And that's another skill, important skill for the TOEFL iBT, is how to take your notes, because you will be able to take notes on all the 4 sections of the TOEFL iBT. And when you are taking your notes, it's really important that you don't waste time writing information that you're not going to use. So this is another ability, another strategy that it's important for the TOEFL iBT. All right, so now what we're gonna do now is start 45 seconds, and you are going to try to respond your question, to respond the question, okay? And you can use the WhatsApp, you can use your the microphone on your cell phone, anything that you think you can listen to later, okay? 45 seconds, go. Right, time is over, and I hope you had a good experience And of course, this is only the first experience. You can try that, you know, after the workshop. You can try it later. This is how you're gonna practice for the speaking part. Okay, is recording yourself and taking your notes, and that's the time that you will need for the independent part. Okay. So when you get a chance, just share here how was your experience, and if you were able to use the 45 seconds and respond the question. It's very important that you are able to respond the question, okay, to answer the question, like they said, using details and examples, okay, to explain why. All right, okay. For the integrated speaking part, that's this, remember we talked about two types of questions on both speaking and writing. The integrated, we already know that it's going to be just one question that will pop up on your screen during the test and you will answer. You don't need to read anything. You don't need to listen to anything in order to answer, okay? But for the integrated, yes, it's a little bit different because you will, there will be integrated skills that you are going to use in order to deliver your answer. In this case, sorry. In this case, you're going to read a passage, you're going to listen to a conversation, and you will have 30 seconds to prepare and 60 seconds to speak. Could you see that now you have more time to prepare and more time to speak? Because it actually takes a little bit more of time once you have to read and listen to other sources. And remember that we talked about learning objectives. For each question on the TOEFL IBT, there is a learning objective, or there are several learning objectives. For this type of questions, there are 5 or more. I used here, I'm sharing here the most important of the learning objectives. When you are practicing for this type of question, you are practicing to take and use notes, to organize information before speaking, right? Because you are going to practice your preparation. You are going to take notes. So another objective of these questions is for you to identify, to learn how to identify differing points of view on the same topic. Okay, so to use different points of views on the same topic. Another learning objectives is that you are going to learn how to summarize major points, okay, and important details. So that's something that the people who rate your answer on the speaking part, they really look at. They look at how well you summarize your answer, okay? Summarize the main points and details of the other sources, if you were able to summarize that information. And synthesize information from written and spoken sources. So all of those things that you see here, all these learning objectives are abilities that you will need when you are studying there, when you are studying abroad, when you are at a English learning environment, English academic environment. So all of these things you are learning because you will need them. Okay, so each question, every time that you practice for the integrated speaking question, you are learning those skills. So tips for the TOEFL speaking part is, as you could see, don't speak too quickly. because sometimes if you speak too quickly, it's going to be hard for the listener, the person who is evaluating your answer, to understand and to follow your ideas, okay? So time yourself when you practice. Remember that we talked about timing. You could see that the test, all standardized tests, they are timed. So you need to manage your time in order to be successful and respond the questions appropriately. For the integrated part, it's important that you listen carefully to the speaker's reasons for agreeing or disagreeing with points. They are made in the reading and in the listening, okay? And make sure that you summarize the opinion of the speakers. So summarizing, paraphrasing, all those points, all those skills are very important for you to be successful on the TOEFL iBT and to get the score that you need, okay? A reminder that one important thing before you even start to prepare for the TOEFL iBT, I highly recommend that you know which score you need to present during your application process, because sometimes you don't need to get a high score, okay? And when we talk about high score, remember that TOEFL iBT goes from 0 to 120, so 120. So a high score would be between 100 and 120. Many programs in the world, and I know that because I have experiences with those, with many universities, they require from 65 to 85, 65 to 90. So know which score, know from the school that you're applying, which score you need to take on the TOEFL iBT. It might not be a high score, okay? So depending on the level of your score, sorry. So depending on the level of your score, you will know how much of effort you will put on your preparation, correct? So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you one question, one integrated speaking task, okay? First, you're gonna listen to something. It will be a campus situation question. Let me see.
City University's choir.
Yeah.
City University.
First, you're going to listen to the prompt. The person will tell what type of question and the content of the question, and then they will give the resources for you to base your response on, okay? So this is the prompt. Let's go back.
City University's choir is changing its performance schedule next year. Read an article about it in the student newspaper. You will have 50 seconds to read the article. Begin reading now.
Okay, so they say that they're talking about a topic on campus. They're discussing right now on campus, and they have an article. Okay, the article that is talking about that discussion, they show part of the article to you. So this is going to be your reading passage. Okay, so you will have 15 seconds to read it. Okay, so and then after you read it, okay, you will listen Okay, remember this is an integrated speaking test. Your response will be based on the sources that they provide, on the information of the sources that they provide. First, you read about the article. You will have 50 seconds, and then they will provide a listening passage, which in this case is two students talking about the topic. And then you hear the prompt.
Now, listen to two students discussing the article.
And then you will play, okay, audios from both students.
Now, listen to two students discussing the article.
Jim, you're in the choir, right? What do you think about what they're doing next year? This article.
I really like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, the new director's right that it will motivate us.
How's that?
Well, some of the other schools are really good, so we'll really have to work hard to go up against them.
Yeah.
I mean, right now we don't rehearse more than once a week, but if we know we'd be competing with other schools, we probably rehearse more often and improve our singing a lot.
That's true. The more you practice, the better you get. So, what about what the article said about how this will help the program?
I hope it works. Right now, our program is pretty small, but we have some really talented people, and it would be great to attract even more people.
So, how will this plan help?
Well, if we go to these off-campus events and other people hear us and think we're really good, we might be able to get some new students interested in coming to this university to be a part of our music program and perform in our choir concerts.
You're right. I hadn't really thought about that.
All right, so I would like you to share what did you think about this conversation? What do you think about the language used, the English used? So were you able to understand everything? Remember that this is not gonna play more than one time. It's just one time. That's why it's important that you practice those listenings as well, those listening passages, okay? So just share, or you can share when you have a question, share about the listening, the language, what you listened. Did you understand it was clear for you? What about the speaker's accent? Did you understand? Was it hard for you to understand them speaking? It was too fast. So share your comments about that. It's really important that you share your comments. We try at ETS, we try to use different accents on the test, okay? Not only American accents, as you will see on the resources that you will see on the links that I will send it to you, that I will share with you, you will see there are more than American accents during the listening audios. You will see Canadian accent, England accent, English accent, English from England accents, Australian accents as well, okay? So more and more TOEFL iBT has been added different accents, okay? But all those accents, they are native accents, okay? And they have to be native accents. All right, so now comes out the question, okay, that you will need to answer, okay? The man expresses his opinion about the change described in the article. Briefly summarize the change. Then state his opinion about the change and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion. So when you're preparing your answer for this question, it's important that you point out all the items on the question, okay? First, briefly summarize the change. Second point of your answer, state his opinion, the man's opinion about the change. And third, explanation of the reasons why he gives for holding that, the reasons he gives for holding that opinion. So 3 important items that you need to have on your answer, okay? So besides reading the question, you will listen to it also, and you will see that you will have 30 seconds to prepare your answer and 60 seconds to answer, okay? Also, it's really important that you practice key points. Remember, key points, major points are like summarize the major points of the sources. In this case, the key points were these 3 points, okay? The change, why does he agree with that change? Okay. He gives 2 reasons. He agrees with the change and why he agrees. These are the key points that you need to have on your answer. Of course, you don't need to write all those things, but you need to be aware that those are important items that you need to discuss in your answer. Okay. I would like to show this. Remember that I showed it before, it was a little bit small. So this is the rubric that the raters use as a guide to rate the answers, okay? I'm gonna read, for example, an answer who gets a level 3, okay? Main description is that the response addresses the task appropriately, but may fall short of being fully developed. It is generally intelligible and coherent with some fluidity of expressions, though it exhibits some noticeable lapses in the expression of ideas. So this is a description, a general description of a 3-level speaking response, okay? So this is something that you also can find online, okay? It's available online on the official web pages. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna quickly show you answers for the integrated task, okay? So same question, now answers. So these students here, they, no, this is not what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is, actually I have 2 answers here, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just play one answer because of the time, and I will ask you to share your opinion on which level from 1 to 4 do you think this student got, okay? Are you ready? So think about all the skills that we have talked about, okay? Organization of ideas, if he was able to talk about the points, the key points of the sources, clear English, a good vocabulary, few hesitation, so all these skills, okay? So let's see this first, and then I would like you to share from 1 to 4, which score would you give to this student, okay?
Actually, the student liked that program. First of all, his opinion was in the other school, maybe it's good, and you can work to improve singing a lot. And additionally, a program, he was talk about his program. It was small, but if you go to campus and to singing, and other students heard that, they will enjoy to come to this university. That's the another things. In my opinion, I agree with this student. That's improving singing a lot in his university, and the program is.
All right, any hints, any suggestion, any thoughts on which score would you give to this student if you were a rater? If you were a TOEFL rater, which score would you give? But let's not talk about TOEFL rater. Let's talk about you. If you gave this type of response, which score would you expect the TOEFL to give it to you? If I have at least one comment here, I will share my answer, because I can share you my answer. Wow, there are some comments here that I'm not following. Okay, Mateo said that I was able to understand pretty much everything, not difficult to understand. And Eduarda Figueiredo says that she's confused about the time we get to read the text. Is it 15 or 50 seconds? 50, 50. Okay, some people saying that it's not difficult to hear. So thank you for your comments on the conversation that I asked you to give comments. Thank you. Mateo says, sounded like a normal conversation, not too fast or too slow. The audio was clear too. This is exactly what you find on the TOEFL iBT. The audio will be very clear for you to understand, and the English as well. Clear speaking, Deborah says. Okay, so scores for that answer. Taina says either 2 or 3. Luis said level 2. Emanuele 2 or 3, Francisco 1, Luan, Ricardo 2, Lucas maybe 2. So it looks like you guys are between 1 and 2. Thank you so much for your participation. This is great. It's great that we have your participation. So I'm gonna tell you which score was. Actually, TOEFL gave a 2 for this student. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you why. Some of you might have noticed that the response contained some information connected to the task, yeah, but he does not give a very thorough explanation of why the student agrees. The vocabulary and grammar were also very basic, with a number of errors in basic grammar. He also speaks with a lot of hesitations because he struggles to think of the right words. He also never summarizes the change described in the article. So you need to summarize that change, okay? Because that is on the question. Everything that is on the question, you need to take notes for you to use on your answer. Okay, and he gives his own opinion at the end, which is not required by the question. Oh, this is important. You're only gonna give your own opinion if the question asks you to. Yeah, so that's why he got a 2, because he also gave his own opinion. It's going to be really clear and stated on the question whether you need to respond to your answer based on your own experience or not, or if you give your opinion or not. Okay. Generally, in this type of question, the integrated, you are not allowed to give your answer. I mean, you are not allowed to give your opinion. It's not that you are not allowed, but they don't ask your opinion. They ask you to base your response on what was heard and read, okay? So you did good. Opa, no. You did good with your comments, with your scores. You gave 2, most of you gave 2, and it was a 2, okay? Some of you were good teachers. Good colleagues, you gave 3, right? But it was actually 2. So we have wow, don't have much time, so I think we are gonna leave the questions since I have answered some of your questions, and we're gonna go straight. We're gonna go straight to the writing part, okay? And what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus more on the content, okay? For me to have time to share with you preparation material, okay? All right, so what are the purposes of writing in an English academic environment? Why do you need to write? Why do you need to have writing skills if you are going to if you're going to study at an English academic environment? So there are several uses for your writing, okay? First, for you to communicate ideas clearly, accurately, and in a well-organized manner. So you write also to express opinions based on personal knowledge and experience. You also write to understand and to relate informations, okay, read and listen to. You also write to understand the key ideas in both listen and reading, and determine how that information is related. So all of these you're going to use in an English academic environment. With my experience as a graduate student, I had to write a lot, and I had to write while I was listening to the teacher. I had to write while I was taking notes on what my classmates were discussing or my teacher was discussing. I had to take notes and write while I was reading. And I had to write essays for my programs, for my classes. So we write a lot in an English academic environment. And those are the points. Those are the main uses. And those main uses, they are the main learning objectives of each question of the writing part of the test. So as I told you before, you're going to write 2 essays for that part of the test, okay? 2 redações. And you already know how to write a redação, right? You already know how to write a paper. We call it paper. You need to, first you need to develop well your ideas, right? Let's say that you are writing in Portuguese. It doesn't change much. It's pretty much the same. The difference is that now you are writing in English, okay? So for the independent writing part of the test, okay? So for the rubric, okay, which is this, what the raters use to score your essays, they will look for development of ideas. They will look for the organization of your ideas, the organization of your essay, and they will look for quality and accuracy of language use. And for the integrated writing part, quality of writing is also what they look for. For example, grammar, punctuation, and use of vocabulary, like rich vocabulary. When I say rich vocabulary, is that you are able to summarize in your own words, for example, what you read, what you listened, and use different vocabulary. And you use link words, okay? And completeness and accuracy of response. And this item is really important, because since you are reading and listening to other sources, on your essay, you need to be accurate, to write what you read or you listen to. You cannot say anything that is different, okay? And for the writing, the rubrics, the ratings are a little bit different. As you see, it goes from 0 to 5. Okay, so now the scores go from 1 to 5. The highest score is 5 on the writing part of the test. And you will have 20 minutes for the integrated, which will be the first essay that you will write. Okay, it will be a short academic reading and listening material that you will read and listen to. Okay, and you will have 20 minutes to write your essay. For the independent, which will be your second essay, your response will be based on your personal experience or your opinion. Okay, so now you can talk about your opinion. You can give your own opinion, and you will have 30 minutes for this second paper. Okay, second essay. And 30 minutes is the whole time, like the entire time of preparing and writing. Okay. All right, so learning objectives, I'm not gonna read all these learning objectives, and you will see them on the links that I will share. But one that I think that is important, and we talked about what the learning objectives are, right? When you study and when you're practicing, when you're writing to take the TOEFL IBT and do the writing part, you are learning how to accurately paraphrase and cite source information. You're also learning how to take relevant notes and organize these notes coherently before writing. I think these two are very important. All the other ones are very important. For example, create a focused thesis statement and use it to develop all the ideas presented in the response. So all of these learning objectives, these are things that you will learn while you're preparing and practicing for the TOEFL IBT. So first thing that you will see on your screen, okay, remember first you start to doing the integrated task. You're going to write an essay based on other sources. First thing that you will have a 3-minute passage, reading passage. This is the reading passage. It talks about Chevalier de Senghor. It's a guy in the past, a Chinese guy. It talks about his memoirs. So as you can see, there are 4 paragraphs. You are gonna take notes on this. You have 3 minutes to read and take notes. Highly recommend that you take notes only of the major points of each paragraph, okay? So you're gonna divide your notes on reading and then listen. The reading part, first point, first major point, this. First major point is this, okay? So you only need to be worried about key points, that's it, okay? And then you will have a listening passage. You will listen to a lecture. In this case, is a teacher, giving a class, and she was gonna be talking about the same topic, but with a different perspective. Okay, she's gonna give a different perspective on the topic. After you listen to this lady talking, this teacher, this is what you will see on your screen. You will see the directions of the question, the reading passage will pop up again. This is one good thing about the writing part, the integrated writing part, is that you will see the reading again. Okay, so I even recommend that you pay more attention on the listening part, because you're not gonna listen it again. So be more, pay more attention, I would say, on the listening, because the reading, you will have it here later, okay? But take notes on the reading as well. Okay, so directions, you have 20 minutes to plan and write your response, okay? Then, so your response will be 150 to 115 words. This is just a suggestion, okay? You can write less or more than that, okay? And then you have a question. Look at the question. Summarize the points made in the lecture. So first thing that they say is they want you to summarize. So all the essays on the speaking part, the integrated writing part, sorry, not speaking, the writing part is a summary, which means that you will summarize the points that you saw, right? That you listened and you heard. So make sure to explain how they respond to the specific points made in the reading passage. So pay attention to what they ask on the question, okay? You will have a hide word count here for you to know how many words have you typed. Suggestion is 150 to 225, but like I said, you can write less or more. The raters will see on your organization how organized is your essay, okay? And how you deliver your ideas, how you develop your ideas, okay? And then you will listen here to the prompt, but we're not gonna listen now because you already know what the question is asking about. So how much time you will have for this question? 20 minutes. You will have 20 minutes to prepare and 30 minutes, sorry, 20 minutes. 20 minutes total to prepare and to write your essay, okay? So this is an answer. This is an answer for that question, okay? It's used as a benchmark from the raters. They use this answer. This answer has already a score. And for the time that we have, I think we have time. No, we don't have time for you to read this because you will have, you will need at least 3 minutes to read, okay? But I would like you just to take a general look on this essay, okay? This is an integrated writing essay, integrated writing, okay? The student took 20 minutes to prepare it and to answer. So I would like you to tell me, what do you think? Based on what you read here, do you think he used appropriate words? Which level would you give, which score would you give to this student? And I'm gonna just let you which score he got because of our time, okay? So this student, he got a 3, okay? Out of 5. Remember that writing goes from 0 to 5, so he got a 3. 3, it's a good score on the writing part of the test, okay? It's good. But you want to start with 3, okay? You want to start with 3. So take a look at this score, this essay. So as you can see, it provides examples of inaccuracy and omission of information from the lecture that are minor. So this is why he got 3, okay, out of 5, because his answer is inaccurate, okay? He also says that he missed one key point, okay? He misses one key point. He doesn't say, he omits one key point in his answer. So because his answer was inaccurate and he missed one key point, okay? Although he had a very good level of English, he didn't get a highest score. So he got a 3 here, okay? I'm gonna go over the independent writing very quickly, just for you to know what it is about. But it's pretty much like it's pretty much like the independent speaking, where you're just gonna answer a question, okay, and give your opinion about an issue. The difference is that you're gonna write and not speak. You're not gonna read or listen to anything. You are just going to answer the question by writing, okay? So 300 words is the suggestion for you to write, okay? But you can write a little bit less or more. And the reader will look at the organization and the organization of your ideas, your development of ideas, how clear your English is, okay, how objective you are with your ideas. So the question in this case is, as you can see, it's a familiar question. A teacher's ability to relate well with students is more important than excellent knowledge of the subject being taught. Use specific reasons and examples to support your answer. Oh, sorry, the question actually is, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? So here they are asking you if you agree or disagree, and you need to support your opinion. If you agree, support your opinion, okay? If you don't agree, support it, okay? So you will have 30 minutes to plan, write, and revise the essay. So this is one answer for that question, okay? The student, he disagrees with the idea that the possessing the ability to relate well with students is more important than excellent knowledge. And he provided his argumentation, right? He provided arguments of your opinion, okay? And this student scored a 4 out of 5, okay? So the essays addresses the topic and task well, but some points were not fully elaborated. It's generally well organized and well developed, using appropriate and sufficient explanations and details, okay? Sometimes it contains occasional redundancy and digression, okay, and unclear connections. So that's why he got a 4 instead of 5, okay? But 4, it's a great score on the TOEFL iBT. Remember, know and learn how your score should be for your application, okay? So now a question for you, and you can answer that, you know, just think about that. Can you name all the strategies that can help you improve your speaking and writing skill? We have seen, we have learned that there is a lot of skills that you can improve, that you can use to be successful on the TOEFL iBT. We talked about some of them, okay, some most relevant ones for this part of the test. So we talked about time management, we talked about note-taking, we talked about paraphrasing and summarizing, and we talked about connecting and linking words, right? Those are main important writing and also speaking skills that you will need to be successful on the TOEFL iBT. So I know that it's already 6 p.m., but I wanted to share, and while I'm sharing this tips here for preparation material, I would like Talita to share the document with the links, okay? Links for all the information that Professor Edson and I have shared here. So you will find a list with those links for you to get more details, okay? So this is a very good, I would say this is an excellent prep course for you to be familiar with the TOEFL iBT. It's called the Insider's Guide. It's streamed on the EDX platform. Okay, so for you to be familiar with the TOEFL IBT, I strongly recommend that you check out on this preparation course. Okay, it's free, and you can enroll now. Okay, at ets.org. It's a TOEFL Insider's Guide. It's a 6-week self-paced course. So really, really good. So while I'm going here over this material, I would like you, if you have questions. And I see one question here. There are some questions here. We can have a paper to make notes during the virtual test. That's a very good question. And I'm sure that Professor Edson explained that in the beginning, but you cannot use paper for the home edition, okay? What you can use a small board, whiteboard, with a pen that you can erase, okay? Or you can use a paper sheet, a double paper sheet, where you will insert a plastic sheet, a double plastic sheet where you insert a paper for you to write down your notes on the top of it, okay? So on the links that I shared with you, you will see all these materials for taking notes, but these are the 2 ones that you can use. You cannot use paper, okay? Go on those links that Talita has shared, that you will find that information, okay? We have to write in topics or complete answers? I'm confused. So topics, when I said topics, I said topics on your notes, okay? When you're preparing to write your essay, okay? Topics, important topics that you read, and important points that you read and listened to. But when you write in your essay, you have to write complete sentences and paragraphs, okay? So there is a free practice test that you can take, okay, to be familiar with the content of the test. And it's called TOEFL IBT Free Practice Test. It's free and it's available online, and it's on the links that I shared with you, okay? There is also an 8-week preparation plan with tips and activities, okay, for you to be familiar with the test. These are all free resources for you to prepare for the test. These books and TPO, TOEFL Practice Online, they have a cost, okay, but you can find them on the TOEFL store, okay, on the official pages, okay. For the TOEFL Practice Online, you can order complete tests, just a half, or only the speaking tests. And also there is this TOEFL value packs, okay, that you get discounts. TOEFL official app as well. I know that many of you like to use apps to find information and to practice. So this is a very good resource for you to practice for the TOEFL IBT. And you can download it for free, okay, on your App Store or Google Play. I really like this Inside the TOEFL Test video aulas, okay, and they cover all the written lesson, speaking and writing questions, okay, question structures, scoring criteria, sample responses, and skill building tips. It's easy to find. Just go on YouTube and type TOEFL IBT or Inside the TOEFL IBT test. So this is all. And I really appreciate your time here and listen to all this information, relevant information about the TOEFL IBT. I hope that they provide you with more knowledge about the TOEFL IBT. And please contact us if you need any, if you have any questions, other questions, if you need any extra information, if you need assistance while you're taking the home edition or the TOEFL iBT at a testing center. That's my email, and that's my colleague, Professor Canella, emails. We both are responsible for the TOEFL iBT in Brazil, and you're more than welcome to send us questions, any things that you want us to assist you with. I wanted to say thank you very much for GCUB and for all of you to being here in this session, the last session of the third skill-based workshop for the GCUB. And I hope you have fun with your studies and good luck on your TOEFL journey. And thank you very much for your time. Talita, thank you very much for today, for your help today.
Professor Diane, thank you so much. In order of the directors of GCUB, we appreciate a lot this partnership. We'd like to thank you and Mr. Edson for your presentation here with us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks all the participants today. We hope you appreciate this webinar. Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good night, everyone.